Hi, this is Travis from the Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this clip on the Political Voices Network.
Good morning. Can you imagine, you're talking about Fox News, can you imagine how bad Tucker Carlson's text messages must be
Right.
if they didn't want them to see the light of day? I mean, I've seen Tucker's show. If they're worse than his show, good God.
I know, exactly. Yes, we haven't gotten your reaction yet to the whole Tucker. He did a video. Travis, what the hell? I don't really, it didn't really make any sense. We thought we were going to get like, oh, what's his side of the thing? And it just was this weird rant, like his show, I guess.
It was pointless.
Huh?
It was pointless.
Yeah. Yes, much like him
It was
and
like
the show.
It was like a proof of life video without any.
It was him whining about the state of television when he caused the state of television.
Right.
Now, I would say that we should ignore people who say outrageous things and tell us they're the only trustworthy source of information and whatnot. But the last time I did that, he became president. So we should definitely keep an eye on him because, that Twitter hostage video could be used for launching a political career.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is that speculation, too. Do you really? Oh, God. Don't even get me. Seriously, you think he might run?
I mean, it's the Republican Party. Anybody can run for president and maybe win.
That is true. Donald Trump has lowered the bar that there is no one too ridiculous on the Republican side.
If he's done anything, one of the worst things he's done is made it so that Republicans think, oh, yeah, that's an acceptable choice.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard me talking about David Frum's piece, though. Again, I don't want to get, happy. We don't want to get complacent. But, I mean, I do think with Trump and possibly or DeSantis, I feel like they could be setting themselves up for a massive electoral defeat, based on just a lot of the factors David talks about in the piece that, that we're aware of, just women, young people, and the fact that they appear not to care. They appear to have lost their nerve to de-Trump themselves, right?
Well, and, I'm sure Trump would tell us that he's already won the 2024 election. So, yeah, I expect he will be their nominee at this point. I can't see anybody beating him. I don't see DeSantis beating him, that's for sure. Then again, I don't see how you beat Trump for the Republican nomination if you're unwilling to be critical of Trump.
Yeah.
How do you contrast yourself with him? Even Nikki Haley is going after DeSantis. It's like, do that to Trump. That's the only way you'll beat him in a Republican primary. Yeah. It may be tough, but it's the only way it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, and the one thing I picked out of David's piece that I was saying I thought was funny, he was talking about Republicans they will not absorb bad news, and they were saying that Democrats, we have a hard time absorbing good news and how electorally successful we've been. But the hand-wringing over Joe Biden in 2024 and his age, and whereas it's interesting, David being a former Republican strategist is saying this could be a bigger, the blowout, the poster that looms over me, biggest blowout ever electorally, which I'm always have a personal interest in.
It looms over you like a lesson.
Yes.
Well, we certainly hope. It might be the only thing that teaches the modern Republican Party its lesson, that it needs to change. Although I don't think it will. Trump will just say that the conspiracy is bigger than anybody ever imagined.
They're just doubling and tripling down. I mean, if you were, in your old job, a political strategist, you were, working undercover, you almost couldn't give them like worse advice, everything they're doing, right? Like, oh, no, double and triple down on the abortion stuff. It's really popular. Just all of it.
It's not popular
book banning,
Right.
Going against Disney. I mean, all of the stuff, it literally is like, it is Carl Frisch undercover giving them the worst political advice ever.
I mean, the best advice they could get is a message of hurt now or hurt later. Hurt now means cut Trump off, and you'll lose part of your base, and that will make you not electable as a presidential party. But you can rebuild from that. Hurt later is keep using Trump to boost your, to goose your turnout, and continue to erode your support among women, among young people. I mean, it's as if they want the entire Gen Z population and millennials, all of them, not just 78%, all of them, to vote for Democrats.
Well, David makes the point we always make, Carl, you and I, is like there are more of us than them. But, what he was saying, the Republicans' only weapon is they make it as hard as possible for all of our constituencies to vote. But once again, the good news for us is that tends to have a boomerang effect. That tends to, the last election, people are pretty pissed about losing their democracy and about trying to, take their vote away. So I'm hoping it will only continue to motivate us on our side.
I hope so too. But they do two things, right? Yes, they put up hurdles to keep people from voting, and that can, induce people to want to vote even more. But they also make the political environment as toxic as humanly possible, because they know it does not turn off their base, but it does turn off left of center voters.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like all of these little, I don't know what they call them, whether it's M&Ms and, Tucker Carlson or, just the boutique sort of social, all this woke stuff. It just seems like they're so out of step with, real issues that affect real people. Travis, we were talking about these anti-trans bullying bills. In some of these states, you're talking about one person. They're making legislation to bully. It's almost like they're like, oh, well, let's make sure that one person kills herself because, I think we all recognize bullying, no matter what our age is or what the issue is, right?
Yeah, and Trump showed us in 2016 and 2020 that Republican elected officials can get away with it and be rewarded for it and build a name on it and raise money on it and grow their email lists on it. And maybe they too, if Donald Trump can be president, somewhere a little fascist baby is waking up knowing that with Donald Trump being president, they too can grow up to be the most powerful man in the free world.
Every baby remembers their first trip to Hitler Burger for the kids' meal. And it's interesting. We're having Fred Gutenberg on next week. He's got a new book out, and it's, we talk with you about this almost every week, Carl, being on the school board. I fail to believe the vast majority of parents are more concerned about drag queens reading stories to their kids than them getting shot to death in school. And, real
Absolutely
things.
Not.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're not. Period. End of story. Same goes for the general community at large.
Yeah. And someone, who was it, Rude Pundit, somebody wrote a great line just about, you look at Ron DeSantis and, they were saying something, not teaching about Rosa Parks is not going to help your home insurance rate. Like the real issues even that are affecting Floridians, he's doing nothing about. It's all these stupid culture war things, right?
Right. And, the big fear that I'm hearing from a lot of Florida Democrats is if this is what he's doing to not become president, what is he going to do with a third term as governor?
Right.
Yeah.
What is he going to do to keep himself relevant to Republicans nationally? It's only a matter of time before Disney World becomes DeSantis World.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a small man after all. I can't do that line enough. Carl, you raise a really good point that it's just, I guess we should be happy that, like Chris brought up, the unintended consequence of this Disney suit could be they blow up Citizens United. Like there's just,
right.
I don't know what to say about them. Trump has already taken a wrecking ball to pretty much everything else the Republican Party has ever stood for, right?
Well, it's interesting. The whole DeSantis Disney thing shows a political miscalculation for a momentary burst of adrenaline, right? Like his people looked at that situation and thought, our base really hates Disney because they indoctrinate the children and they're woke and they have female lead characters in cartoons now who are brave and don't rely on men.
Yeah.
And they thought, let's go after them. We'll get a burst of popularity. What they forgot was that this was a multi-billion-dollar company with endless resources that can make their lives and existences miserable.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
And they can afford much better lawyers than Ron DeSantis can.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I also don't get is, I guess, them deciding that their main role is to be Trump's defense lawyers. I was just reading a tweet about, we really already have become numb, haven't we? That the first president already indicted for paying off a porn star illegally is on trial for rape this week. We haven't even gotten to sedition, overthrow of the government, espionage. I mean, it's just. But I guess they've sort of boxed themselves into this, that it doesn't matter literally what Trump does.
None of it does, and Trump told us this is what would happen. Right?
Republicans say they won't cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. But can honest, hard-working middle-class Americans really believe what these politicians say? Republicans said they wouldn't overturn Roe v. Wade. Here's what Supreme Court Justices Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Coney Barrett said during their Senate confirmation hearings.
Roe v. Wade, it is a precedent of the United States Supreme Court. A good judge will consider it as precedent of the United States Supreme Court.
Roe v. Wade. It's settled as a precedent of the Supreme Court.
Roe is not a super precedent, but that doesn't mean that Roe should be overruled.
Well, we saw how that turned out. They played us for fools. Tell your elected officials to keep their hands off of our Social Security and health care benefits.